traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. God, let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. He's been good. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's so good to me. Let me tell you, God has everybody, sometimes, He has set God about it. I feel so good. Oh yeah. One more time. Yeah. Every day of my life, I feel it. He gives me strength and energy. Help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah. This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Tuesday, August 26th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to set aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, you can join the conversation. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And a lot is going on. Well, Donald Trump continues his racial hit list. He is now saying that he is removing Lisa Cook, who is a governor in the Fed Reserve. She's one of the governors, only one of two blacks. And he's saying that he's removing her over alleged mortgage fraud. But Cook, who is the first black woman to ever serve on the Federal Reserve Board as governor, says she's not resigning. He has no basis to resign. And he has no authority to fire her. And she's refusing to step down. So a legal fight is expected to incur. The legalities, I think that the lawyers will handle. But it is amazing to me how a president that has been convicted of 34 felonies and found liable for fraud with his own businesses, guilty in civil court,
as well as sexual harassment, is going to remove somebody based on an allegation? I mean, somebody's alleging mortgage fraud. We don't know that's true or not. So you now can be fired for an allegation by a convicted felon? So I don't care who you are, whether you support Trump or not, whether you're Republican or Democrat. The danger is anybody can accuse you of something now and you be fired. I walk in your job right now and say, you did ABC, and they're supposed to fire you. So how you going to fire a governor of the Federal Reserve on an allegation? She's not been prosecuted on this. Less known trial. She hasn't even been indicted. So what's the standard here? Oh, that's right. She's a black woman. That's the standard, in my opinion. Other news in Utah, this was interesting. A judge orders Utah to redraw maps. A Utah district judge ruled the GOP legislature unconstitutionally repealed key parts of a 2018 voter-approved redistricting reform. It was done by an independent commission and anti-gerrymandering guardrails. It barred further elections under the current map and gave lawmakers 30 days to pass a remedial map following the 2018 guidelines. So this decision is interesting because it lands amid a broader redistricting fight that's been going on for the 2026 midterms. Texas Republicans, urged by Trump, has done redrawing. Now here you got in Utah, them saying, no, y'all can't do that. And y'all got to go back to the original map. And I'm looking at the fact that some black students become illegal DEI under Trump. Using the Education Department Office of Civil Rights executive orders, investigations, and funding threats, the administration is arguing that initiatives like hiring more black teachers, black history courses, and training on white privilege are illegal DEI under Title VI, asserting they can create hostile environments and function as unlawful affirmative action. So y'all wonder why we marching Thursday? All this is funded by Wall Street. They succeeded in getting the first black woman president of Harvard out, and they're going at everybody. Now they're saying students can't learn black history. You cannot go for a certain increase in black faculty. You cannot say that we are delinquent in having people of color or women or anything. So definitely we need to be on our marching shoes, in our marching shoes, and prepared to do whatever else we need to do to back this up. Want to hear from you on your thoughts on all of this going into Labor Day. We hitting with all of this. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go to our message board at nationalactionnetwork.net. Message board is at nationalactionnetwork.net. Mayor Rodney Jones is on already, saying the Republican House, Senate, to conservative majority of the Supreme Court is what we're dealing with. Nicola DeMarco from Tacoma, Washington says, thank you for your leadership. We will be watching the NAN live stream on August 28th, March on Wall Street. Lisa Cook has physical scars from when she helped integrate schools in Georgia. Well, you make sure, Nicola, you would be marching, since you cannot get all the way from Tacoma to the march. Though there's some people coming from the West Coast, some of our chapters are coming, but I'm glad you'll be watching it. But we need as many bodies here as possible. I don't know what Donald Trump has to do to establish to some of you all that he's playing the race card to his base with all he can. Going after black woman in Federal Reserve, going after black woman Attorney General State of New York, going after redistricting blacks that will cost several seats in Texas, including Jasmine Crockett, that has already been signed. Ending DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Taking over cities with mayors that got black mayors. Sending in National Guard like those mayors who have decreased the amount of violent crime in their cities, but like they can't run the city. And it's being done in your face. I'm absolutely sick and tired of hearing people talk about what they would have done. You're in a situation now of authoritarianism and of institutional bias being not only excused, but reinforced. What you doing now? That's why we call a march. That's why we're working company by company, dealing with withdrawal of patronage and supporting those that's doing theirs. This is no time to sit by and watch everything gained by the civil rights movement erode. It's not time for that. And clearly, you and I have an obligation. So let's talk about all of this. And I think that it is important, as I talk to people every day around the country on this show and in other situations, I think people are slowly understanding that we are in an alarming situation. Julie Alexander says, good afternoon, Reverend Al Sharpton, keeping it real, watching from Wesley Chapel, Florida, originally from Bronx, New York. Okay, Julie, I know you've been with us a couple of days. Glad to have you with us. Demetrius Jones is saying, good day, Reverend Al. We are experiencing authoritarianism, no doubt about it. And Prayara Carrington says, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton. I will be watching the live stream march this Thursday from Baltimore County. We have 2 or 3 buses coming up from Baltimore. But everybody participate where and how you can. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I'm so grateful. Those are some are riding all the way from Atlanta, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. It's that serious. It's that important. You rather ride now and stand up now than be the next thing they cut. Let's take a break. I'm going to open up the phones, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Rev, you know, you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at
Yep.
that time, at
Yep.
Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, and I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene yourself,
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair,
Yeah,
man.
you had the head on.
Yeah, it was.
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut. So we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK. Hi, I'm Reverend Al Sharpton, president of National Action Network. August 28th, 1963, there were many that gathered in Washington for the historic March on Washington. And many of us grew up hearing the speech Dr. King gave that day, I Have a Dream. But in that speech, he talked about America giving the Negro, blacks, a check that is bounced in the bank of history. So this August 28th, Thursday leading into Labor Day weekend, we that usually go to Washington to commemorate, we're having the Memorial March on Wall Street. Why are you going to Wall Street, Reverend Al? Because the people that have benefited from the check bouncing on Medicaid with this big, beautiful bill that took SNAP from people that need food assistance, they're on Wall Street, trading every day, doing the stock market every day. When is the last time we've had a mass march, nonviolent but determined, right there where they know, we know who you are, and we will not support the companies that undermine and finance our being destabilized. Join me, the National Action Network, and Martin Luther King III, August 28th, 10 a.m. We're going to march from the African burial ground just 1 mile to the Bull in the middle of Wall Street and have our rally. I want the faith community particularly to be there. Dr. King always built from the church. We need to be a witness in these times. People say, Reverend Al, I'm tired of marching. I say, what's the last march you've been to? Most of you've never marched. This is your time to show up and stand up. God bless you.
Of reference. 400 years later, it's time to do some assessing where we came from. While Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, and Mississippi take the hits, the real trade market for commerce and cotton was New York, the port of New York. As a matter of fact, Joe, the first state to end slavery was Vermont. It was all the way up the coast. The big shipbuilders became enriched off of our enslavement. Say our people are not slaves, they are our ancestors. They became slaves, the person, they're our ancestors, they're our foreparents. The money is made off of the commodity. We were the commodity in the commodity exchange. And they would import Africans. They export cotton and tobacco. And they built the whole economic system around Wall Street. Africans, because they feared the Indians would attack the Dutch, built a wall on Wall Street. That's why they named it Wall Street. It's the Africans, with logs and trees, they built a wall around Wall Street, keep the Indians from attacking the Dutch. So Wall Street was named after us. There's a burial ground on Wall Street. which we should all visit. Those are our foreparents. At some point, they moved us to the other end of Manhattan, which is Harlem. So we are on the same island as Manhattan. Manhattan, Harlem, Wall Street, on the same island. Harlem is right down the road from Wall Street. And that's interesting that most of our leaders who argued different cases never quite got to march on Wall Street.
That was Reverend Jesse Jackson speaking at National Action Network's House of Justice in 2020, saying that we'd ignored dramatizing, putting the spotlight on the economic inequalities, the economic issues of this country by never having marched on Wall Street en masse. Well, on August 28th, 5 years later, we're going to do just that. Because with this big, beautiful bill, which is a big, ugly bill that cuts Medicaid and SNAP, with the ending of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and initiatives in the private sector, which gives blacks and others jobs, contracts for businesses, making sure we make the C-suite based on our merit and not excluded because we didn't have the family background in a given place, whether it be academic or business. The people that benefited from that are the ones on Wall Street that deal with the stock markets, that deal with the Dow Jones, that deal with making trade off of the decisions of those that supported the Trump initiatives in this area. So we are not this year going to Washington on the anniversary of the March on Washington. On the anniversary of the March on Washington, we're going to Wall Street. And Reverend Jackson, we're going to do what you said. Thousands of us are going to nonviolently but firmly come and say that the dream cannot be deferred by tax cuts for the rich and cutting those out that need food assistance, that need support with health care and other economic policies that have choked the middle class and the poor. August 28, 2025, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, get the details. Meet us 10 a.m. at the African Burial Ground and be ready to march. Buses are coming from all over the country. Go to that website or call 1-877-626-4651. No justice, no peace. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And I again urge all of you to be at the march here on Thursday. Day after tomorrow, we're going to meet 10 sharp right at Foley Square, which is at within the block of the African Burial Ground. And we have buses leaving the Summers early as tonight, Tennessee, Georgia. We want thousands to march with us from the burial ground to Wall Street, where they had the bull. You know, that bull statue they use as the symbol of Wall Street. And we'll have a rally there. Martin Luther King III and I are co-chairing it. Many of our union leaders are coming. Congressman Al Green told me he's breaking something to come from Texas. Ben Crump will be speaking. Others will be there. And all you have to do is go to nationalactionnetwork.net to see the map of where to go, where to be, or the cities that have buses. It's all free. But we've not had a black civil rights point of view march or since Trump's been back in, which is why every 5 years since 2000, 25 years ago, Martin III and I have called this march from National Action Network and Drum Major Institute. And in 2000, when we started, his mother, Coretta Scott King, late great widow of Dr. King, introduced us and sort of passed the baton to us. We decided this year, given the economic inequality, given what they're doing in terms of those on Wall Street financing these redistricting fights, let's go to Wall Street. Let's not go to Washington. And as God would have it, we didn't even know then they're going to have the National Guard there where we'd be bringing people in that might be harassed. So God worked it out. Be there. And go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Now, we also are encouraging all of you. Watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, MSNBC. I'm there 5 o'clock every Saturday, every Sunday. I got the ratings this morning. Had good audience participation, a good audience watching according to the ratings, because you know they go by the ratings to keep your show on the air. We need even more, but you did a good job, and I appreciate it. And, of course, you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, I will be at the Saturday Action Rally. I'm not doing the march and then going out of town for Labor Day. I'll be there looking for you at the Saturday Action Rally, you that are going to be in New York for Labor Day. Some people coming up for the march and staying through Labor Day. Come be with us at the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th and Lenox. Make sure you come. And somebody's saying the volume is low on my
I just turned you on.
All right, they turned it up. They took care of it. All right, let's take some calls and go to the message page. Let's go to Lewis in Washington, D.C. Lewis, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Brother Al, how you doing today, brother?
I'm fine.
Good. I'm hoping all is well. Listen, the thing that bothers me about Trump and his antics and his manipulation is how he always tries to head each department in our government body. Now, the reason why he's going after this governor, Ms. Cook, the Fed chair, is because he's been having issues in getting those folks to change the interest rates, okay? He knows they control that.
Right.
Now, Reverend Al, there's so many of those constituents on Capitol Hill that register their homes, Reverend Al, and having them listed as their main resident. There's, as a matter of fact, a Republican up there. He has the Means Committee. He has 3 homes listed as his primary residence. So this is just one of his offbeat ways of doing business to try and take control of a government body. So the person he puts in the seat, Reverend Allen, you know this as well as I do, they're going to be a yes person.
Right.
They're going to be a yes person because they are going to cater and honor him just for having that seat. As a matter of fact, Reverend Al, they're probably not going to be qualified, like this Patel, who's heading the FBI unit right now. They know for sure that they're not going to find anything on this Bolton. They're not going to find anything on him. They knew that he had classified documents, but what did? They went and raided the man's home. Let's see the outcome of this. It's going to be minuscule. And the bottom line is they did it for the sole purpose of trying to have an initiative to say that we're in power and we're going to use these government bodies the way we intend on using them. But secondly, Reverend Al, I'd like to express this, and I won't be long. Just like I'm going to be at the march, I can't walk, Reverend Al, because my hip bothers me. But I want to be in that location. I want to be supported.
Well, if you can't walk, come. We've got arrangements for those that have any disability, where you'll be right there at the seat of the march where there's a spot that one of our board members have. Jenny Jones Austin has a building there. You'll be able to watch the whole march and not march and hear the whole program after the march. So come on, you're doing the right thing.
Thank you, Reverend Al. Reverend Al, can I say one more thing? It'll take 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You know as well as I do, Reverend Al, we all have choices. But more importantly, the good Lord has given us liberty, which means we have freedom of choice. When I look at the statistics, Reverend Al, in terms of voting, I would call the other radio station, I won't mention their name, but I had my prompt the other day, and the initiative I was trying to express to them was how certain set groups of people vote. How in the world can any of them, Reverend Al, during these times, put in 50%, pledge 50% of their votes to Donald Trump is beyond me, Reverend Al. It's beyond me. And I'm like, how can they do that knowing the circumstances that this country is under right now? And look at us now. And look at how he's taunting and how he's punishing those folks that gave 50% of their vote. That's too much to me, Reverend Al. Now, if you really are serious about having and taking control of our democracy and getting our democracy on a level where it's shared by everyone, Reverend Al, you have to watch the way you vote.
That's right.
Bottom line.
That's right.
Thank you, brother. God bless you.
Thank you, and God bless you. Let's go to Ira in Washington.
Let's take a break.
Ira, hold on. I'm going to take my break, and we'll come right back to you. Keeping it real. Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. You on live stream. I'm not advertising, Listerine. I use it to keep my voice strong doing the radio show. I don't want y'all to think I'm doing an ad. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Of reference. 400 years later, it's time to do some assessing where we came from. While Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, Mississippi take the hits, the real trade market for commerce and cotton was New York. The port of New York. As a matter of fact, Joe, the first state to end slavery was Vermont. It was all the way up the coast. The big shipbuilders became rich off of our enslavement. Say our people are not slaves, they are ancestors. They became slaves, the person, they're our ancestors, they're our foreparents. The money is made off of the commodity. We were the commodity in the commodity exchange. And they would import Africans. They export cotton and tobacco. And they built the whole economic system around Wall Street. Africans, because they feared the Indians would attack the Dutch, built a wall on Wall Street. That's what they named it, Wall Street. It's the Africans, with logs and trees, they built a wall around Wall Street, keep the Indians from attacking the Dutch. So Wall Street was named after us. There's a burial ground on Wall Street, which we should all visit. Those are our foreparents. At some point, they moved us to the other end of Manhattan, which is Harlem. So we are on the same island as Manhattan. Manhattan, Harlem, Wall Street, on the same island. Harlem is right down the road from Wall Street. That's interesting that most of our leaders who argued different cases never quite got the march on Wall Street.
That was Reverend Jesse Jackson speaking at National Action Network's House of Justice. in 2020 saying that we ignored dramatizing, putting the spotlight on the economic inequalities, the economic issues of this country by never having marched on Wall Street en masse. Well, on August 28th, 5 years later, we're going to do just that. That cuts Medicaid and SNAP with the ending of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and initiatives in the private sector, which gives blacks and others jobs, contracts for businesses, making sure we make the C-suite based on our merit and not excluded because we didn't have the family background in a given place, whether it be academic or business. The people that benefited from that are the ones on Wall Street that deal with the stock markets, that deal with the Dow Jones, that deal with making trade off of the decisions of those that supported the Trump initiatives in this area. So we are not this year going to Washington on the anniversary of the March on Washington. On the anniversary of the March on Washington, we're going to Wall Street. And Reverend Jackson, we're going to do what you said. Thousands of us are going to nonviolently but firmly come and say that the dream cannot be deferred by tax cuts for the rich and cutting those out that need food assistance, that need support with health care and other economic policies that have choked the middle class and the poor. August 28, 2025, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, get the details. Meet us 10 a.m. at the African Burial Ground and be ready to march. Buses are coming from all over the country. Go to that website or call 1-877-626-4651. No justice, no peace. Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day. For 90 days, they're going to do a study of what companies have pulled out of DI and what companies have a small margin of profit. And we in 90 days are going to announce the 2 companies that we're going after. And we're going to ask everybody in this country, black, white, brown, gay, straight, woman, trans, don't buy where you are not respected. Donald Trump can't make us buy your stuff. The Senate can't make us buy your stuff. In the Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on our message board like Dr. Jamie Pleasant, PhD, says, keep doing it, Reverend Al, from the ATL from Atlanta. We've got a couple of buses from Atlanta headed to New York for the march on Thursday. Glad about it. And I was talking to Martin Luther King III, quarter of a century, we've been having these marches on that day so that people won't distort it. Some people want to have it as memorials or commemoration of what we did in 63. No, it is a challenge to mark on that day that what they did in 63 is not taken back. We don't need no memorials. We need some right now saying on this day, we want to make sure that you understand we are not stopping, keeping the pressure on like our forefathers did, or like they did 62 years ago at the first March on Washington. Don't forget, Emmett Till was lynched, killed in Mississippi on August 28, 1955. March on Washington with Dr. King did I Have a Dream speech. Labor helped, and Labor's helping with the March Thursday. Was August 28, 1963. And we've been doing it since 2020, some even before us. So we use the day, the blessings of the tradition to bring it into what is being done today. And when you look at, they want to fire, this president wants to fire a governor, the only black woman that's ever been a governor in the Federal Reserve, Lisa Cook, one or two black governors in the Federal Reserve, on an allegation that has not even been prosecuted or convicted. And he's a convicted person. I mean, come on. I am outraged. And, all right, let's go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira.
Hey, good evening, Reverend Sharpton. Thanks for taking my call. I'm just going to be kind of quick. I had to change my subject due to your opening remarks this day. I just want to let the folks know about this, what I found out. I saw something that says Rockbridge. I Googled it, and it was founded in 2019, and one of the main owners and financiers behind it is J.D. Vance. And their objective is to seek to push America to the right. That's the first step. And this real critical one here, a gentleman named Peter Thiel,
Right.
Thiel.
Thiel is the one that financed J.D. Vance.
And Donald Trump for $20 million.
Right.
And he's the one that wants to kill democracy from the inside out. And I think people need to go and research those items because this is what's going on. They're going to try to make this cashless currency thing so they can kind of dictate and track all your moves with your money and everything. So you're supposed to need to wake up and investigate and research these things so they can be aware. It's not no joke. They better be aware. And I just want to be enlightened if they don't know. You research these things. There's nothing wrong with that. The information is there.
I thank you for the research, Ira. And facts do not need a defense. People need to deal with facts. Thiel has been a major financer when J.D. Vance ran for the Senate as a MAGA candidate and then became vice presidential candidate and now vice president. And he said $20 million given to the Trump campaign. Let's go to May in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. May, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello. Greetings to you from Cincinnati, Ohio, and beautiful Lincoln Heights. And this is Nettie.
Nettie, okay.
I just want to say this to you. Thank you for your information, Reverend Al Sharpton. Thank you for your information. And thank Dominique. And I want to send a shout-out to Lincoln and Sharon Ware. This is the 47th anniversary.
Wow.
And 12:30 a.m. The Buzz. So I just want to let you know, thank you, and I'm still listening. This is Nettie in beautiful Lincoln Heights.
All right, Nettie, God bless you. And Lincoln Ware, God bless him, 47 years. He is really a real...
He's been married to Sharon Ware for 47 years.
47 years. A great man, yes. A real pillar in our community. and has never wavered. Lincoln Ware. All right, congratulations. I'm glad you
And
brought it up.
congratulations to you for being information, sending it out to us. Thank you so much.
All right, thank
And
you.
thank you for allowing Dominique to do some things on the radio, baby. Thank you.
That's my daughter. Thank you. All right, let me go to Deborah in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Deborah Jean Arnold from
Deborah.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Yes, Deborah Jean Arnold from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm standing today. What I have come against me and standing. Is it because of voting? Is it because of just manipulation and control and power here in Atlanta, in my community? We know that over $50 billion goes to mental health and from the United States. I have experienced as a woman, a black woman, a mother, a college ed, grandmother of 5 grandgirls. In the community south of Atlanta, I've experienced the effects of gentrification, housing.
The effects of what? You got to speak up. I'm trying to understand.
Oh, gosh. Housing, gentrification, coming against my state and my standard. Yes, I was told this girl is good, this woman is good. What is trying to come against me is to use something that's happened many, many years ago. And we question that, my mental health, or try to, as they say, put me away. Why? Deborah Jean Arnold has a voice. I speak strong. I speak loud. And right now today, do your research. I have never been in this position for almost 35, 40 years. All of a sudden, a case is trying to be built up more against me. To put my state of something I've never experienced in this area. Why?
A case is being built against you by who?
Okay. I have by medical doctors, by not let me just get the back. My medical professionals that are crooked, and to me, in our opinion, that want to put Deborah Jean Arnold away in that matter. It was quoted to me on October 27th, 2024. It was quoted to me on December 31st, 2022. Why? Number one, I witnessed, as stated by some great lay purpose persons in Atlanta, Dr. Yamoja, Dr. Kanaya Ide, Dr. Imani. I experienced what they said a genocide. When our African black men, when they are killed on the street, the black women's wombs are taken. I saw something experienced that shocked me. I witnessed a genocide of our own black women's having hysterectomies that didn't need them. I experienced threats against me. I experienced, I've been poisoned, you name it. And I have facts. Not saying that, or she's just been illusional. Not saying that I'm hurting or harming anyone. Who is harming Deborah Jean Arnold? My hanging fruit is to help another. I love to enhance. I love to inspire. I have a grandchild that's going to college. I have finished school, but that's not enough. I have experienced my own work that God has given me to provide for me, been compromised. My writing, my work, my songs, everything that I touch. I saw a letter on my door. It said, "You'll never be good, but washing walls and floors." And ever since then, all I can know, even a small part-time job, even a contract, a seasonal job, was not good enough. So I said, God, I turned to God. And this is where I stand right now, standing to God for my state and my standard. Right now today, I am in Emory, where I should not even be. I had someone I asked and I demanded for the psychiatrist do not come to my presence. He comes in my room. He says, do you have a army truck in your room? Do you have brigades in your room? Do you have guns and knives under your bed? I respect. I couldn't take it anymore. I said, I need me a brother. Just sit right here and let me hear him talk to me that way. I've been discriminated against, talked down, talked at. But I'm a woman that God loves. I'm the righteousness of God. And you, those who know me, a prayer comes through.
All right, hold on 1 minute. Hold 1 minute. Get her information and let me see if I get somebody in Atlanta, Office of NAN, to look into this to see if we could be helpful. I don't know. We can't do everything, but what we can do, we gonna do. So give me her information. Let me go to Leon in Dallas, Texas. Leon, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al.
Good afternoon.
And your guests. I don't know whether he's still there or not, but a couple of things. First of all, the gentleman made a comment earlier about athletes not giving back. Well, I wanted to remind them of Kurt Flood. You know, Kurt Flood is the one that paved the way for free agency. And now these athletes make hundreds of millions of dollars, not millions. Some of them have $2 and $3 and $4 and $500 million contracts. And I don't know of the 501c4 that they have where they put their money in one of those organizations so I can go and try to get some money like what I asked you to try to help me with for this economic complex. We talked about that before, and I'm still, you know, trying to do what I'm trying to do. But these athletes and these musical entertainers, movie people, all these entertainers, they have enough money to where they put that money somewhere with a foundation where you can get grants to open up businesses that can change the dynamic of the black community. Okay? So, frankly, I don't see it. So, I'm just saying, I don't see it. They have generational money. So if you've got a $500 million contract, well, what is $10 million to you or whatever? That's, you know, not even 1% of your money. So they are not giving back to the same people who helped them get to the position to make that kind of money and then patronize them as they were making it. Okay. Secondly, I know you're familiar with the drone strike yesterday in Israel,
right?
That killed all those journalists.
Right.
I got a chance to see the video on the news of the second strike. The first strike, they really didn't post a video, but when they were trying to retrieve the bodies, a second drone hit them and it just obliterated them. You can see it. I said,
that's the one that killed.
That
that's the one that killed all the journalists.
Right. Now, those are piloted drones. Those are not autonomous drones. That location is too precise. It's not like hitting the whole building. They hit a staircase. Those are piloted drones. Somebody was watching that. That's not an accident. Okay? And I'm kind of outraged that Israel will talk about what happened in the 40s, but now they're putting the same pain on the Palestinians. And when you look at all those children who got their legs blown off, their arms blown off, and trying to say that that's going to help you get rid of a terrorist group, all that's going to do is create more terrorists. Because if you want peace, you need to be peaceful. And I don't see it coming from the Israeli government. I thought that was a war crime, and there's no consequences to doing that kind of stuff. If I did something, if I walked in the store and stole a loaf of bread, they're going to handcuff me and take me out to the car for shoplifting. But what is going on with all these people getting murdered and starved, and there's no consequences?
Absolutely.
That's all I got to say.
All right. Thank you for your call. I'm up on a break, but I think he raised a critical issue with going on. What happened in Gaza day before yesterday was inexcusable. Let's talk about that and more of you on the phone. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back. For 90 days, they're going to do a study of what companies have pulled out of DI and what companies and what companies have a small margin of profit. And we in 90 days are going to announce the 2 companies that we're going after. And we're going to ask everybody in this country, black, white, brown, gay, straight, woman, trans, don't buy where you are not respected. Donald Trump can't make us buy your stuff. The Senate can't make us buy your stuff. In the name of Dr. King, we're gonna do what Dr. King did. Trump tweeted the other week, I'm a con man, don't call me the coin man. I'm gonna stop the coins from dropping in the wrong place.
Rev, you know you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, but I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene you saw.
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair back.
Yeah, you had the head on.
Nah, it was
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut. So we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK. Oh.
I got a Tony.
You got it. My daughter won a Tony Award.
That's crazy.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That DEI is a result of those that by law and later by enforcement would not deal with diversity, would not deal with including people of color, gender, sexual orientation, as well as disabled. And the conscious effort by government and the private sector to begin to equalize the opportunities of this country was something that makes it more humane and fair for all of us. To DEI, diversify, is not based on the lack of merit. We could not show our merit because we were extremely pompous conservatives that talk about we want a society based on merit. Well then, if it's based on merit, then why did you discriminate based on race and gender? Until they cut off much of the population and then had merit between white males. That was what they meant, not merit. Let's have real merit, but let's also make up the ground that those of us with merit was not able to compete. Look at the story. We celebrated Good Friday and Easter just a couple of weeks ago. Well, there's a message in that. I heard a preacher talk about this the other week. The thing that people forget, I want you to keep this in mind, is they crucified Jesus. Those of us that are Christian believe they hung him on a cross, maligned him, mocked him. Wasn't enough to nail him. They mocked him, saying if you be the king of the Jews, step down and deliver yourself. Mocked him. Ridiculed him. He wanted water, they gave him vinegar. Crowned him with a crown of thorns. When they should be giving you your celebratory, they're going to give you some attacks. But the end of the story was they went and laid him in Joseph's tomb. Didn't even have a family tomb. Didn't have insurance like some of us. Laid him in a borrowed tomb. But the third morning, this is the story they tell it. The third morning, when they came to where they laid him, he wasn't there. My message is to you today that don't let them catch you where they laid you. They may kill your name. They may crucify your character. They may tell you you are nothing from nowhere, but when they come to where they laid you, let you be gone on to somewhere else. I've been called everything but a child of God. They said I'd be nothing going nowhere. They castigated us. They called us troublemakers. They called us loudmouth. And when they came to see me go to jail, I wasn't there. They can catch me on MSNBC now. They can catch me leading marches now. I serve a God that not only will go through the crucifixion, but will bring you through the resurrection. We're going to resurrect in the city. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. This is our time.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
Because I have a dream today.
When they can't kill the dreamer. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we are back 1-877-532-57 5797 1877 532 5797 and twitter.com the Rev Al. Let me say that Lori Parks is one of our great activists. She has on our message board, there are black athletes, celebrities, men and women giving back. She's saying like LeBron James, opening up schools, setting up college funds. Mike Epps definitely always gives back to Naptown. I'm from there. Okay, so there are some, and that's good. We point out those that do. I think it's good to challenge others, but those that do, we need to make sure that they're given their credit. Don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday and Sunday. And yes, I will be live this Saturday and Sunday, even on Labor Day weekend. I take no holiday, especially when you're dealing with a president that is on weekends just setting back the clock on us. So I will definitely be on live Saturday night and Sunday night, 5 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you check us out. I'll let you know what happened after the march and what we are doing, our next steps, as well as I'll have already some of our guests that'll be at the march are going to be with us. Also, I'll be at the Saturday Action Rally. Many of you that are visiting New York for Labor Day weekend, many of you that are coming up from the march and staying over, meet us at the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice, 145th Street, Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice. You that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television or on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And, of course, we are telling everybody, meet us, be with us on day after tomorrow, Thursday. Some buses are leaving already tonight because they want to be in the number. It's the 62nd anniversary of the March on Washington. We're taking the march to Wall Street to stand up against the anti-civil rights things that are going on right now. Not enough to say my grandma was at the March on Washington 63. Where are you at the march today? John Martin Luther King III and I. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. You can sign in. There's still some seats on some of the buses. Some are sold out. Not sold out, given out, because we are not charging anybody riding to New York and going back home on one of the buses. Or you can call the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651. Let's go to Raj in Cleveland, Ohio. Raj, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, Reverend Al, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Hey, so the original reason why I called, I couldn't get in touch with Marcia McCoy from Nan here in Cleveland, but she called me while I was actually on hold with you, because I called you because I couldn't get in touch with her. But while I didn't even have her information, but then I found it. I found the number, but yeah, she called. So, anyways, because I'm gonna be well, they got the bus full, but she said sometimes they'll people call and cancel. So, anyways, no, but I want to speak about that firing with Trump fired the Federal Reserve, the woman from the Federal Reserve.
Right.
Well, yeah, because she wouldn't lower the interest rate so he could get more money, free up more money for him, or he could borrow more money at a lower rate.
Yeah, well, the whole Federal Reserve is not only Linda Cook. It is the Reserve, including the chairman of the board of the governors of the Federal Reserve, Powell has said they're not prepared to do what he says. Definitely Cook is one of them, but she's not alone. But he always goes after the black one, Raj. It's always like you're dealing with Chicago. Now he wants to go in. When in Washington, a black mayor. Cities with black mayors. Now, out of all of those that are on the Federal Reserve Board, he goes at the black woman. I mean, it's transparent what he's doing.
Oh yeah, because he feels like just like you when he called out all the 4 counties when he lost that election. He only called out 4 counties, and they happen to be majority black counties. That's because that's his way of saying I should not my journey to power should not be rely on the hands of black people. You know, because he feels like that's like we're holding him up, or we shouldn't even have a say in anything relevant. And that's why it's all the more important for blacks to vote, because when they have no choice, you know, if he has it his way, you will have no choice to vote at all. And then that's your voice. And then, you know, and they feel I always said he wants the takeover to be in the name of the Confederates who always said they shall rise again, because they you know they never gave up, even though they lost the Civil War. They always pledged to come back. And same thing with the Nazis, and he's with both of them. He's with both you know, factions, and you know, but that's the whole thing. I agree. He wants his way of saying blacks should not have, and all those in his circles, they feel like blacks should have no say in what they want to do, what they feel they have what they would say the divine right. That's their God-given right to rule the world and all the people of color in the world. So that's how I see that, Rev.
All right. Well, thank you for your call, Raj. And I'm going to look for you to make the march. I'm sure they'll get you on that bus. Let's go to Tyrone in Baltimore, Maryland.
Let's go and take our break.
Let's take the break. Tyrone, I'll come right back to you. We're on break. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. For 90 days, they're going to do a study of what companies have pulled out of DI and what companies have a small margin of profit. And we in 90 days are going to announce the 2 companies that we're going after. And we're going to ask everybody in this country, black, white, brown, gay, straight, woman, trans, don't buy where you are not respected. Donald Trump can't make us buy your stuff. The Senate can't make us buy your stuff. In the name of Dr. King, we're going to do what Dr. King did. Trump tweeted the other week, I'm a con man. Don't call me the coin man. I'm going to stop the coins from dropping in the wrong place.
I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide, as the model for those who are to build the building. and a building is not well erected without a good, sound, and solid blueprint. Now each of you is in the process of building the structure of your lives. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance.
So we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. It was one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Good.
Right, so that's that. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave. Right?
Yeah, that's when exactly. That was exactly.
The two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road. I went and spoke at his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's casket.
Wow.
To South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people from too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And when I knew Jesse was from James, I started president.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about it in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, 06. And they came to do the story for February of 07. They came in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy and him and pushing the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, do you know that my great-grandfather was a slave about 40, because Greenville right up to our 20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you got to listen to me. But now. Hi, I'm Reverend Al Sharpton, president of National Action Network. August 28th, 1963. There were many that gathered in Washington for the historic March on Washington. And many of us grew up hearing the speech Dr. King gave that day, I Have a Dream. But in that speech, he talked about America giving the Negro, blacks, a check that is bounced in the bank of history. So this August 28th, Thursday leading into Labor Day weekend, we that usually go to Washington to commemorate, we're having the Memorial March on Wall Street. Why are you going to Wall Street, Reverend Al? Because the people that have benefited from the check bouncing on Medicaid with this big, beautiful bill that took SNAP from people that need food assistance, they're on Wall Street, trading every day, doing the stock market every day. When is the last time we've had a mass march, nonviolent but determined, right there where they know, we know who you are, and we will not support the companies that undermine and finance our being destabilized. Join me, the National Action Network, and Martin Luther King III, August 28th, 10 a.m. We're going to march from the African burial ground just 1 mile to the Bull in the middle of Wall Street and have our rally. I want the faith community particularly to be there. Your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And we are going, I'm going to come back to you, Tyrone, in Baltimore, but I believe I have on the live line. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When we called the March on Wall Street on the anniversary of the 62nd anniversary of the March on Washington. And as I said, in 2000, 25 years ago, Martin Luther King III and I have been doing these every 5 years. First time we did it outside of Washington. And Mrs. King introduced us and kind of gave us the assignment. Not as a memorial. This is not a commemoration. Any of you coming from around the country, this is not to remember the march. This is to give the state of the dream and where we are in terms of trying to eliminate DEI, now going after Governor Linda Cook at the Federal Reserve, the redistricting in Texas, and a plethora of things. We need to go to Wall Street. They're financing this. They're the ones that benefited from the 2017 tax cuts being restored that Biden had canceled. They're the ones benefiting from DEI being canceled. And we've asked all of our legacy organizations to co-chair this with us, and they are all in and will be leading the march. And one that I am very happy to have on the live line is the president and CEO of the National Council of Negro Women. And the National Council of Negro Women were co-chairs of the original march in '63 under Dorothy Height. Their president and CEO now, and who's bringing members with her, is the one and only Reverend Siobhan Arlene Bradley. She's on the live line. Siobhan, thank you for coming on. And tell us why you and the NCNW is so enthused about this and organizing around this.
Hey, Rev, it's so good to be on. And listen, we could not miss the opportunity to have a conversation about why Black women are standing for DEI and why Black women need to be marching on Wall Street with our family in the civil rights space, but also in the organizing space across the country. We feel it's important that everyone understands that those a part of Wall Street need to know that a $2.1 trillion consuming organization, consuming constituency of Black families in this country, where 52% of them are Black women, we're not only strong, but we are stronger than ever because now we have shown that our economic power is actually political power. And we have seen it in Wall Street. We have seen the reduction of profits in some corporations, but NCNW personally has made a what we call a 3C commitment. And the first C is the corporate strategy. If you're with us, then we're with you. If you're not with us, we're not with you. And that, Rev, has been a strategy that has worked, and it is still working.
Tell us the reaction of NCNW with the, I think, not only racist but sexist profiling on Governor Linda Cook of the Federal Reserve, where now the president, a convicted felon, is saying that she should be removed because of an accusation. She's not been prosecuted, indicted, less known convicted, because of an accusation. And he's the first convicted felon to sit in the White House. Talk about that, Siobhan.
Well, I want to talk about the hypocrisy of democracy, Rev.
Right.
That's the bottom line here. We are seeing a tactic that has been used to target and smear Black leadership in this moment. But I want to have a larger conversation, Rev. Here's the real question back to the administration. Then why was she confirmed if she did something wrong?
We have Dr. Eric Kelly.
That's the question we got to ask. There's no way that a governor for the Federal Reserve would ever pass confirmation through her vetting process if she was guilty. And let's be clear, this is about weaponizing overreach of government authority to target women, to target men that are representing our community and representing the values of our community. You know what else she has done? She has stood her ground on interest rates. That's what she has done. And NCNW is saying that there will not be a Black woman who has represented our community and our values that we will not stand with if she has done her part. And Lisa Cook has done her part. And you're seeing across this country, Rev, leaders, organizers, institutions, influencers that have said, listen, we are standing with a woman who's already said it publicly. She's not sitting down, and we can't sit down either.
Absolutely right. Tell me, as you look across this country, and I was in Washington on Sunday doing Howard University, as we see the National Guard being used in D.C., and NCNW has one of the major buildings on Pennsylvania Avenue, and you see the threat now to Chicago and others. How do you respond to that? And I'm sure we're going to address this at the march.
We're going to, one of the things that we're seeing, listen, we're the only Black-owned building in between the White House and the Capitol, Rev. People don't want to talk about the realities of us being in the crossfire. But my team and our leadership have been doing three things. One, ensuring that our families are safe. You know, Rev, my staff are mothers of sons and daughters who have to go to checkpoints. We are literally living in a quote-unquote apartheid state in Washington, D.C.
Right.
So first of all, my family's safety. I'm making sure that our families are safe. Secondly is this, in conversations with the leadership here with MPD, this city is rebellious to what is, quite frankly, government overreach. And we're not backing down. This is a democracy. Our country was founded, quote unquote, on these principles. And NCNW is not going to be moved. We are the only black owned building here, but we believe that every space in DC that's black owned should be on alert. We've had to bump up security. We've been checking. We have to have our own spaces for checkpoints of who comes in here because, Rev, at this point, we can't even trust anybody coming into the building.
Right.
It has become that crazy. And my own staff, Rev, that comes and uses the public transportation that drives in, you can see National Guardsmen on the metro, Rev. This is what's happening.
We have an office there on 18th Street of the National Action Network.
Yep.
And Ebony Riley and them said checkpoints everywhere. And as I saw with my own eyes, National Guard in Georgetown, but they're not in 8 and 9 where there's been crime in the black community. They're down there protecting people in Georgetown. This is as racist and blatant as I've seen it.
It's obvious. And look, I tell people all the time, my family, the R-Line family, is originally from Florida, and my family has been sharing, like, Siobhan, this is what we grew up in Jim Crow country Florida.
Wow.
What you all are seeing is a part of my family's full legacy. And so, we stand in, Rev, not only on the shoulders of those that came before us, but this is what's different. Our ancestors fought enemies that were clear. Our enemy before us changes the goalpost every time.
Right.
And I'm saying it aloud to everybody. Even the racists had to follow the law. Now we're in a lawless regime. That's a different conversation. So we have to have different methods, and we need tactics of everybody. This is not the time to be divided, y'all. We got to push together and march, pray, and fight collectively.
All right. Well, we be marching together this Thursday, and Siobhan,
That's right.
Arlene Bradley, sitting in the seat of Mary McLeod Bethune and Dorothy Height before, and she's more than risen to the occasion. National Council of Negro Women CEO, and we're going to hear her on Thursday, as well as many of our members are coming. I'm going to take a break, and when I come back, we have the national president of the American Federation of Government Employees, and he's a preacher and a great, great activist. We're going to have him talk about why he and the AFGE members are coming to march with Martin III and I on Thursday. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797. Be right back.
Hey, Rev.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your
country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say this song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Get up. Then I went on backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God smiled on me. You've been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smiled on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Lord, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. When we prepared to get the march together, as we have for every 5 years for the last 25 years, one union that always has been consistent has been the American Federation of Government Employees. And they have many, many members right there in Washington, D.C. But when Everett Kelly, who is Dr. Reverend Everett Kelly, became president, they have doubled up their efforts as they have been the victims of more government, in my opinion, unfairness than most employees. And I called him. He said, yeah, we under attack, Reverend, but we're going to be there. We're going to march. We're going to bring members. We're going to help with the buses. And he's going to be there to speak. And I have him on the live line, Dr. Everett Kelly, the national president of the American Federation of Government Employees. How you doing today, Dr. Kelly?
I'm doing good, Reverend Al, and thank you for having me, and thank you for an invitation for myself and the members of AFGE to be with you.
Tell us why it's so important. And, you know, Labor was the one that did the original march on Washington, A. Philip Randolph. Why is it so important, though, particularly to your union, that government employees, I mean, y'all are going through all kinds of issues.
Yes, sir. Well, you know, this administration, Trump has canceled our contract at over a dozen agencies, and he just decided to rip them up and throw them in the trash. His billionaire friends are cheering him on, and they can't wait to do the same thing with, you know, other unionized employees. But, you know, we're going to stand there, and we're going to fight. We're going to fight this whole thing through. We can't give up. You know, the past few weeks, this administration has been canceling contracts at, you know, Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs, EPA, Food Safety Inspections, FEMA, Citizen Immigration, you know, and most services where AFG represent workers at NAOSH and CDC.
Wow. And just arbitrarily closing these departments down, arbitrarily laying off workers with no consideration for their livelihood or for what they stand for. And let's remind people around the country, Dr. King was in Memphis when he got killed fighting for workers on a labor issue. So it is important what Dr. Everett Kelly is doing here as a labor leader with Lee Saunders and other labor leaders, because labor issues and civil rights issues are the same thing, Dr. Kelly.
Yes, sir. You're exactly right. You know, because this is the thing. When you start talking about, you know, the federal employees, you know, it's not just about saving the jobs, you know, of federal employees. It's about preserving the services to the American people that they deserve. You know, this administration wants to privatize everything. You know, it's about paying back billionaire buddies. That's really what this is all about. We start talking about privatizing Social Security, privatizing the VA health care, privatizing meat and poultry inspectors, you know, privatize everything and, you know, bank as much profit as they possibly can. That's what this is all about. It's really, you know, if I be real with you right now, it's about retaliation against AFGE for standing in the gap for its members, for standing and speaking truth to power. But, brother, we will continue to do that. We will always do that.
And the union has stood strong behind your leadership. The members have stood strong, and they're ready to fight back. I met about 3 of your members that said they were members of AFGE that came to Howard University when I preached there Sunday. And they are lockstep with you because they understand we got to fight.
Yes, sir. You know, our members have really been very supportive, Reverend Al. I mean, when the beginning of his term, you know, he took away the rights to collect dues. And, Reverend Al, in less than 3 months, over 140,000 people signed up on an alternative due structure that we made for ourselves. That was massive, and that's major. No one else has ever done that.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, well, we're looking forward to hearing you speak on Thursday, and we thank you for AFGE being one of our co-sponsoring partners. The National President of the American Federation of Government Employees, Dr. Everett Kelly. Thank you for being with us. Let me go back to the phone. Let me go to Pam in Chicago, Illinois. Pam, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, Reverend Sharpton, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Overall, I'm well. I'm excited about the upcoming protest. I won't be able to be there, but it's just the fact that we will have the presence of all of those people descending on Wall Street, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So in doing that, I also hope that in the speeches that you have lined up, Reverend Sharpton, that they just really get to the core and hit home. I hope that in somebody's speech, they call out the fact that he is a convicted felon, because that's the title he earned, that he is an adjudicated sexual abuser, and that all these things should have been disqualifying in supporting him, but it's not. So in present day, we have to fight back, and we've got to be prepared to do that. And I'm using this word. You have to identify your enemy, and that is, for me, this is Pam, not you, Reverend Sharpton, because I'm not trying to put any words in your mouth. For Pam, it is the adjudicated sexual abuser, the best friend of a child rapist, and those victims were 13 and 14 years old, groomed and sex trafficked. That's what is the enemy for me, and who ordered an insurrection and didn't lift one finger to get any National Guard, ICE agent there to assist the people, the savages that were there during the mayhem and defecating in the White House, beating up police. So I'm clear about who the enemy is, that inhumane person, as well as anybody who supports him. We can no longer equivocate about this. I know there are loved ones, spouses, whatever, that may have supported this, but you have to be strong and fast. I don't know what you do if your spouse voted for this person. I know what I do. I'd be talking divorce. I just really would. That's me. I mean, really, Reverend Shaw, it's just really down to that, because he's so despicable. Your pastor supports this. You have a right to get out of the church. And I'm very serious about this. So we have to push back and fight back. And let me just say this to the wealthy Black people. It's not enough that you just donate to a school or you buy books or clothes for an organization. Do you see clearly what these billionaires, these white, hateful billionaires and millionaires are doing with their money? They're funding candidates to the tune of $5, $10, $20 million. So we can't do that. We can't shore up the organization with a $5 million, $10 million donation. It makes no sense, Reverend Sharpton. It can't just be the poor, working class, middle class people fighting this battle. And I called her before, Oprah Winfrey. You have two proteges who are working with this this sex trafficker's best friend. And that's Dr. Oz, who is in the administration, and that's Dr. Phil, who is going on ICE raid, and he's been given, information about the arrest sheet. Those people were cultivated because of Oprah Winfrey's money. Now, I know she can't be responsible for them, but could you at least speak out on this country that she claimed to love so much and that has so much to offer everybody? Because right now, this country is turning on Black people. Black women, Black children, Black men, Black people. He is the enemy. And it's the enemy from within, and we've got to fight. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about with our vote, fighting the oppression. I'm talking about with our money. I'm talking about protesting. I can't be there, Reverend Sharpton, but I donated to help get someone else there.
I appreciate that. Let me ask you this before I have to go to break.
Yes.
What
Sure.
what are the people in Chicago saying in terms of the mayor and the governor standing up against Trump bringing in the National Guard there?
Well, there was a major press conference with the leaders of unions, as labor leaders, as well as elected officials. They are saying no. Governor Pritzker is calling it out. No, we don't need you. We don't need your help. And then Mayor Johnson is simply saying no, because we know what works. Crime has been on a decrease here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we want it totally eliminated, but we have to be realistic. And there are programs that Mayor Johnson put in place that are working, Reverend Sharpton. And it's not sending ICE agents at the behest of a adjudicated sexual abuser.
All right. Thank you for your call. As always, good to hear your voice, Pam. And I said I was going to Tyrone and went to Pam. So, Tyrone, I'm coming to you right after the break. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
Because I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to know.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Look at the story. We celebrated Good Friday and Easter just a couple of weeks ago. Well, there's a message in that. I heard a preacher talk about this the other week. The thing that people forget, I want you to keep this in mind, is they crucified Jesus. Those of us that are Christian believe they hung him on a cross, maligned him, mocked him. Wasn't enough to nail him. They mocked him, saying, if you be the king of the Jews, step down and deliver yourself. Mocked him. Ridiculed him. He wanted water, they gave him vinegar. Crowned him with a crown of thorns. When they should be giving you your celebratory, they're going to give you some attacks. But the end of the story was they went and laid him in Joseph's tomb. Didn't even have a family tomb. Didn't have insurance like some of us. Laid him in a borrowed tomb. But the third morning, this is the story they tell. The third morning, when they came to where they laid him, he wasn't there. My message is to you today that don't let them catch you where they laid you. They may kill your name. They may crucify your character. They may tell you you are nothing from nowhere, but when they come to where they laid you, let you be gone on to somewhere else. I've been called everything but a child of God. They said I'd be nothing going nowhere. They castigated us. They called us troublemakers. They called us loudmouth. And when they came to see me go to jail, I wasn't there. They can catch me on MSNBC now. They can catch me leading marches now. I serve a God that not only will go through the crucifixion, but will bring you through the resurrection. We're going to resurrect in the city. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. This is our time. Keeping it real, I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and let me go to Tyrone in Baltimore, Maryland. I had to have our two union leaders on and had promised to bring Tyrone up. Go ahead, Tyrone.
Yes, how you doing there, Al Sharp? Reverend Al Sharp.
I'm doing well.
Yes. Good show, good program. I just wanted to say, and I commanded National Guard units in my life as a retired military officer before I retired, and I have related to people that that's not the role of the National Guard. When you turn the military inward instead of towards the overseas, then it's the sign of the authoritarian regime. National Guard is made for national disasters, national emergencies, and riot control. It's not for civilian law enforcement. All right, and it was never intended to be that. I know that because, as I said before, I commanded National Guard units, and I actually trained them. So I know what they're trained for. And they are not trained to be civilian law enforcement. And what Trump is doing now is actually a violation of Posse Comitatus, which is a statute that really forbids the military to be used as civilian law enforcement. What he's doing is he's testing the waters. He's pushing as far as he can, and he's daring these judges to smack him down. And a lot of them, because the appointed a lot of them, they're not doing it. And so what we're having is that he's seizing control a little bit at a time and just reeling us in. And I would say to people that if you can convince somebody that you can make them safe, if you can convince somebody that you can make them safe, not that you can really do it, even if you can't really do it, they will give their rights. That's a known fact. They will give their rights up. If you can, all you have to do is convince them that you can make them safe. There will never be, and I think it was Benjamin Franklin that said this. He said people who desire freedom over, safety over freedom, I'm just paraphrasing, will get neither and deserve neither. And he probably was thinking about black people when he said it.
Wow.
So we got to be very careful thinking that we get some semblance of safety by giving up our rights. The rights, to be peacefully assemble, for instance, which Trump has attacked that. He's going to attack that. As a matter of fact, he was going to send troops, and not troops, but federal agents into Baltimore to the Freddie Gray times. And Marilyn Mosley told him that if you send these agents in here to interfere with our people's constitutional rights, peacefully protest, I will prefer charges against those agents. So, and Trump said that prosecutor Baldwin needs to prosecute herself, and he took the FBI on her. So this thing with the Letitia James, with the mortgage, They did the same thing with Marilyn Mosby. They did the same thing with, they're doing the same thing with this the Fed governor.
Yeah.
And you're right. You're right. You're very astute by taking note of the fact she's black. So he's signaling to his race base that, look, forget about the Epstein files. I'm still racist, and I'm in here for inward control, like y'all want me to be.
Right.
So that's basically what this is about, a distraction from the Epstein files. We keep forgetting about that. So I would say let's keep pushing those Epstein files and really discredit him, because that's what they're doing with our leaders. They even locked up Dr. King.
Yep.
For tax perjury in 1962.
Yeah, indicted him.
Indicted him, yeah. But he had a good lawyer.
Yep.
See, Marilyn Mosby had a public defender because they broke her by taking her to court for frivolous charges. The FOP did that.
Right.
So she didn't have the money to do that. But Perry Belafonte was going to pay for Dr. King. Freddie Gray was his lead attorney. A man named Freddie Gray, believe it or not. And he was a brilliant lawyer, and he did it with a team of all black lawyers. And that's the difference with the people that have money back then and the people that have money now. They should have done the same thing for Marilyn Mosby.
Yeah, Fred Gray is a brilliant lawyer.
Yes, brilliant lawyer. And it was obvious she was being railroaded. It was obvious, and but it took me a long time to do flyers and all this stuff because the local Fox affiliates were trying to make her look like the biggest criminal since Freddie Gray. So we would get out flyers and trying to inform the public on black radio and everything that this is nothing more than high-tech lynching, which is what it was. But I'm telling you, this Fox News is so seductive, and they're owned by billionaires. As one of your calls alluded to, what this is really about is billionaires using racism as a tool to get compliance from the low-class whites. They've always done that since the days of Bacon's Rebellion. And racism is a very useful tool because, again, as Johnson once said, President Johnson once said this, and I know you know that, Reverend Sharpton. If you convince the lowest white man that he is higher than the highest white, that he's higher than that he's higher than the highest black man, the lowest white man is higher or better than the highest black man, you can pick his pockets all day long.
That's what he said. LBJ said
Thank you for your time, sir.
All right, thank you. We're joined as we are every Tuesday at this hour by the senior pastor of the First Corinthian Baptist Church of Harlem and a member of the National Board of National Action Network, Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron. How you doing, Reverend?
Pretty good, Reverend Sharpton. How are you today?
Pretty good. So here we are with Washington, D.C., with National Guard. I was there Sunday preaching at Rankin Chapel at Howard. The National Guard are in Georgetown protecting the wealthy. They are not in Ward 8 or 9. We have the only black woman governor, Federal Reserve, now being told by Trump he's going to fire her, even though it's questionable does he have the legal grounds to fire her. And we have him saying he's going into Chicago. He is named Washington, D.C., Chicago, L.A., and Oakland, California, all black mayors. This is as blatant a racial soaked attack than I've seen in a long time, Reverend.
Yeah, well, what it clearly says is that Donald Trump is not hesitant nor fearful to move forward with what he believes are the right things to do according to him and his, I won't even say his base, but those who are the puppet masters around him. And I think, as the caller said before, he's going to test limits. He's going to see how far he can push. He's going to see how far he can push the judiciary. He's going to see how much he can get away with. He's going to see how much he can inflict his petty, vindictive agenda upon this country in some way, or upon people in particular, like John Bolton. I think that's what we're seeing happen right now. And, you know, I think even the way he talks, and we've been dealing with him for a long time. I watched him refer to the governor of Illinois as a slob. I mean, these personal attacks, it sound like a child calling somebody names. So I think we're in a moment right now what Dr. Jones, I preached a sermon this past Sunday, but Dr. Jones will call the age of anything, where we see so much happening right now, and politically, that what it should do is cause us to retool and understand why all those years the focus of the Republicans was the judiciary. We now see why, because that is the only body who can really stop someone who seeks to rule with tyrannical power. It's clear now. There was always an agenda, and the agenda was always for the long haul, not the short term. So I think we're seeing it play out, right?
The fact that many of our blacks in positions of power, black mayors, blacks on the Federal Reserve, now they're redistricting congressional districts in Texas, saying they're going on to other states. Indiana has been mentioned. It shows something that you and I have been saying for some time, that blacks in high places need to make their connection stronger and deliberate with those in the masses, because you become targets and you end up getting taken off because there's no support for you. I'm going to see how many of our black elected officials show up at the march Thursday, because sometimes you can be seduced and you are not like them, and then they get rid of you and you have no base to call on because their base don't even know you were there because you were not relating to the base.
Absolutely. You know, I read an article from the New York Times comparing elements of Mamdani's campaign to Reverend Jackson's presidential campaigns. And the writer is actually doing a book that incorporates part of Reverend Jesse Jackson's presidential runs. And he pulled a quote from one of his speeches where he named different segments of our population. He talked about us being this quilt, this progressive quilt. He named all these different sections. Let's say he would have said, he didn't say this, but let's say he said, okay, the LGBTQ community. And then after every refrain, his refrain was, your patch wasn't big enough. You had to put all the patches together of different fabrics, torn, damaged, to make a quilt. And I think what you just alluded to is the fact that none of our patches are big enough to face what we're facing alone, that we have to begin to join forces and pool resources and close ranks in order to fight. We can't fight in this season if we're fighting over who's the most relevant, or we're fighting over who's the most oppressed, or we're fighting about who has the most pain, or we're fighting about who has more rights. We have to learn that none of our individual patches are enough to work in this moment, that we have to come together in very intentional but strategic and calculated ways to begin to upend. I've saying for years, I learned this as an organizer, organized people always overcome organized money, but I think now organized people can always overcome organized insanity if we put ourselves together, Rev.
And I think you're absolutely right. I remember that night, Reverend Jackson, you know, who was my mentor, made that speech in Atlanta at the Democratic Convention. And it is no accident that a youth organizer for his campaign, Patrick Gaspard, is one of the organizers around. He's one of the organizers around Zoran McDaniel's campaign now for mayor of New York. And Zoran's first one called me and said, I'm marching with y'all Thursday. I'll be out there with you marching on Wall Street. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, Walron, go to the phone. Be right back. Keeping it real. Hi, I'm Reverend Al Sharpton, president of National Action Network. August 28th, 1963, there were many that gathered in Washington for the historic March on Washington. And many of us grew up hearing the speech Dr. King gave that day, I Have a Dream. But in that speech, he talked about America giving the Negro, blacks, a check that is bounced in the bank of history. So this August 28th, Thursday leading into Labor Day weekend, we that usually go to Washington to commemorate We're having the Memorial March on Wall Street. Why are you going to Wall Street, Reverend Al? Because the people that have benefited from the check bouncing on Medicaid with this big, beautiful bill that took SNAP from people that need food assistance, they're on Wall Street, trading every day, doing the stock market every day. When is the last time we've had a mass march, nonviolent but determined, right there where they know, we know who you are, and we will not support the companies that undermine and finance our being destabilized. Join me, the National Action Network, and Martin Luther King III, August 28th, 10 a.m. We're going to march from the African burial ground just 1 mile to the Bull in the middle of Wall Street and have our rally. I want the faith community particularly to be there. Dr. King always built from the church. We need to be a witness in these times. People say, Reverend Al, I'm tired of marching. I say, what's the last march you've been to? Most of you never marched. This is your time to show up and stand up. God bless you.
Come on.
We've reduced a lot of our ministry to entertainment. Or who can hoop the loudest, who can run around the pulpit more, or who got the dresses fancy, and don't deal with the ministry. Jesus healed more people than he preached to. Because there is in the healing your message. They followed Jesus because he healed a woman with the issue of blood. They followed Jesus because Jesus saw a blind man named Bartimaeus. A lot of us would have dismissed him because he was a broke, poor, homeless, a blind man. How do you know he was broke, Reverend? Because they say he was begging. But he understood what he was doing because he heard that Jesus was passing by. And when Jesus got close enough, he said, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. They kept telling Jesus, let's go, look, we got a schedule, we got people to see. He said it again, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. And when he did it the third time, Jesus stopped and went and healed the blind man. Now, what I get out of that scripture, Bishop Daughtry, is that the blind man told Jesus, if you are who you say you are, you're going to stop and see me. And if you stop and see me, you will confirm who you are. But when we are pastoring and leading in communities with bad health, we cannot be the followers and representatives of Jesus and walk by people that are sick and we not be part of making them well.
Encourage us because where we are, we need guidance, we need direction. Reverend Sharpton, if you could please guide us and say a few words, because we just must, there's no way you're interviewing us.
Baku and Rich Dennis and the rest will not tell you, against all obstacles, they said we're going to make this happen. I was here 31 years ago when Essence Music Festival started. I've spoken at every one for 31 years. They wanted to stop this. They ended DEI. But just because they ended DEI, we will not DIE. We are indebted to these sisters because they reconnect us. You are strong not by your branches. You are strong by your roots. And the reason that this will survive is the roots that they have brought us from the motherland. Tell us that we're stronger than the waters that we had to pass over. And if we go back to the roots, we can take the waves and the storms of the ocean. Because God brought us here to save the human race. And that's why we're here. God bless Baku. Bless you, sister. Bless Reverend Jasmine Crockett and all of you that are here tonight. Stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute, impact, affect, but it's your life that you're central in. So stop trying to lay the weight of what you do or don't do on others. That weight is squarely on your shoulders and in your hand. And if you want to defer and give your life choices to others, that's on you. If they have any sense at all, they will be so busy trying to conduct and properly guide their life, they will not have time to try to major in your life. Thing past hope, because I grew up, like I said, single mama on welfare, and my mother told me there's a part in life that hope's gonna run out. But she told me you got a double barrel in your engine. I said, what is that? She said you can switch from hope to faith. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron is our co-host. Let's go to James in Long Island. James.
Yes, I just wanted to take this time, Reverend Al Sharpton. I want to appreciate you. Thank you for being one of my heroes. Thank you and your family for all of the sacrifices that you have gone through. Thank you for being a leader and just holding the line on continuously being a keeper of the dream. Thank God for Ashley and Dominique. Congratulations on the Tony, and to your grandson, the junior activist. He had the bullhorn. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Right. So I was honored to be marching with him and one of my mentees and for a time, Ronald McHenry out of Long Beach. And so I'm honored that you continue consistently. You've been attacked, you've been threatened, you've been put in jail, you've been stabbed. I know Martin Luther King said if I would have sneezed, he could have lost his life. And I thank God for you, Reverend Al Sharpton, because you're consistent in spite of whatever going on. I know some ministers, they say, oh, it's not in the Bible, but there's so many scriptures showing about speaking up for the poor, the needy, and fighting for justice. And so I thank you for being consistent. And I love you, Rev, and I really appreciate you in Long Beach. We got a bus coming out that you're sponsoring, and we thank you for that. 70-some-odd-year-old man said, that's going to be one of the best days of my life. He said,
Wow.
It's my birthday, and I'm going to be on that bus. He said, I worked with John Lewis. I was a teenager. And he said he worked with campaigning and fighting and marching. And so he said, I'm going to be on that bus. It's Assemblyman Noah Burrows' father. Assemblyman Noah Burrows will be on the bus with me also.
Wow.
And so I'm excited. The people are excited. And I'm so grateful that you have a bus coming out of Long Beach. I know you preached at my church as a young man, Christian Light Missionary Baptist Church under Reverend Evans. And, so
I was a kid. Yeah. Wow. I know we got a bus coming out of Long Beach Thursday to the March on Wall Street, and I'm very, very proud of Reverend Ron McHenry and the work he's doing with us. Y'all have produced a great leader there.
Yeah, so I thank you so much, Rev. And like I said, sometimes, people say, I wish that I was living back then in the 60s and the 50s and the 70s. Well, you're living now. It's 2025. What are you doing now? The whole country should shut down to be on Wall Street. Reverend Al Sharpton has made a clarion call. And so it behooves everybody to get on the phone and call people from the east, the west, the north, and the south. They still have time to get on the bus, get a skateboard, a scooter. They still have time to get a plane ticket to be there with you, Reverend Al Sharpton, because you've been there. You, again, been consistent. You even teach people not just about fighting for justice, but even health. As you get up early in the morning, showing that you're on the treadmill, all of that is a part of being able to be consistent and not just teach us physically how to fight, but mentally and spiritually. And so I thank you for a holistic approach on fighting all of these things that we do fight. And I pray that God continue to bless you and continue to cover you, keep you from all harm, hurt, and unseen dangers, and continue to bless your amazing family. I love you, Rev, and this is James Hodge, and I'm saying I thank you for what you do. You do so much. So many people don't know what you go through to be able to make it look easy. But, man, I appreciate you so much, Rev.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you for your call. Reverend Walron, I preached at Rankin Chapel at Howard on Sunday and talked about exactly what James was talking about, that people don't understand that the fight for liberation, for human rights, for against poverty is biblical. Expound on that, because a lot of people act like there's some aversion when we go into that in the pulpit.
I mean, it's clear in the Old Testament and the New Testament. In the Old Testament, God makes it clear to Israel the priority for the poor, for the widows, for children. Makes it very clear that they ought to always make provision, and in the midst of their gleaning of their produce and their harvest, make provision for those who are not able to provide for themselves. Come to the New Testament, then you get Matthew 25. I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I mean, there is from Old Testament to New Testament. And when I say Old Testament, it's part of their law. People think of the commandments as the only laws of Israel. They're not. There are tons of commandments, laws, and codes that guide Israel that you find in the Old Testament. And that's one of them. So there's biblical precedence for standing in solidarity with those who are on the underside of society, with making provision for that. So it's amazing how many people can call this moment a Christian moment, and we're finally getting back to God, but then we're ignoring one of the major priorities of God to Israel, which is to take care of the vulnerable in your midst. And what we see now being acted out in the name of God is just the opposite. I said on Sunday that God is not the mascot of any political party, and Jesus did not die so that the empire could be born again. We got to keep that in mind.
Absolutely right. And I think that, I don't know what preachers are doing if they're not standing up. It to me is a sin and a shame when you claim to be coming in the Word or preaching the Word of God, and you don't preach the whole Word. It's just it's malpractice at best. I'm trying to say it nice as I
nice
can.
about it.
Yeah, but it's amazing.
I'll add this to it, Rev. You know, there are pitfalls, and we've talked about on air about the new IRS's ruling where pastors can endorse political candidates and churches can do that without fear of retribution. And we talked about the kind of consequence, the downside, but there is a positive side. Here's the positive side. If you can endorse, you can also publicly criticize in a very intentional way now as well.
Right.
So we're looking at one side of it, but there's another side. You can say whatever you want to say about anyone in office now, and there will be no retribution because of the new law.
Yeah.
So we got to keep that in mind too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They opened up the door there, obviously for their own reasons, but we can take advantage of it, and especially a lot of our weaker brothers and sisters in the pulpit that say, "No, I can't do that because I'll lose my tax status." Well, now they've said you can endorse candidates, so you certainly can endorse candidates and also support social justice movements because they've opened that door. Now, they didn't open the door for us. They did it for the right-wing churches, but we can take advantage of it, no doubt about it. Let's get ready to take a break. We come back and go to the phones, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, Walron, keeping it real. Be right back. Country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God can smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say this song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. I feel it. Then I went on backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the
And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burdened down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God, smile on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Lord, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has an answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way if you just keep the faith and refuse to lose. And God will.
I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron is our co-host. Don't forget, every Saturday and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. And as I said, I got the ratings. I get the ratings every Tuesday. And you have been supporting the show. We had high ratings in CNN both nights. And we've been doing that a while. You support us because we bring out the information. And we're going to have 2 live shows. I don't take Labor Day weekend off. I've got a report on what happens in the March Thursday and where we are with Trump trying to go into cities. And there's no time to take off. We'll be there. I've already booked some of our main speakers from the march will be on with me on Saturday and Sunday night. People will say to me, you going to ask people on the holiday? I said, they can go on FaceTime. I'll be in the studio. We have to keep our people informed. And Trump will be golfing and take a policy and turn it upside down. So we cannot take our foot off the pedal. Also, you that are in the New York area, you that are coming up for Labor Day, I know at least 2 buses are staying for Saturday. I'll be at the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the Village of Harlem. and we meet 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. right there at the House of Justice. We'll be there this Saturday. I'll be there looking for you. And, of course, you that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television or watch it live on live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. And again, I just talked to the House of Justice, and people are calling in late, getting on buses. We still have some seats available in some cities. Or you that are traveling, we start 10 a.m. sharp, day after tomorrow, 62nd anniversary of the March on Washington, but we bringing it to Wall Street. And we're going to start right there in Foley Square next to the African Burial Ground, 10 a.m., and march right to the Bull on Wall Street, led by Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King and myself and many of our, we have 12 national labor unions. You've heard from a few over the last few days, as well as all of our major legacy civil rights organizations. Reverend Dr. Walron, what's going on at FCBC?
Well, Rev, we just had two things. We just had our Hope for Harlem this past Saturday. It was an amazing event. Thousands of people came out. I know one of our partners is the Food Bank of New York City, and when I got there was a line from 116th and 7th all the way down to 116th and 8th, Frederick Douglass, for people looking for free groceries.
That's a long line,
It was amazing. It was a very long line, and they were giving out free groceries all day until we finished. And it was just a great event. School book bag giveaways, free haircut, free facials, things for men, women, and children, food, job resources. I mean, you name it. The vendors were there, and it was amazing, and it was completely packed, and it just stayed that way for about 5 hours. So it was really a good event, and we had some amazing volunteers who made it possible, and some amazing partners with FCBC, Food Bank, and also DC9. And so it was a really good event, Rev. And then, secondly, this coming Sunday is my first time live back in the church in almost 3 months.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to that. People have seen me during the break preaching on our virtual Sundays, but I recorded those way before I left to go on my sabbatical. But so this will be first time back in almost 3 months this coming Sunday. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, well, and knowing you had taped them before you went on sabbatical, so you coming with some new insights that you studied and come up with on during your sabbatical. Right. So it's going to be tough up in FCBC on Sunday morning. I know that's right. Let's go back to the phones. Let me go to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio. Demetrius.
Hey, thank you, Reverend Sharpton. It's good talking to you and Reverend Warren. I just want to comment concerning Miss Lisa Cook. There were Donald Trump accusations against her. I can't understand how it's illegal where he had finished some type of fraud or mortgage. But if she's not, you have politician people in the legislature. They have two residencies. Say they might have residency in the district they live in, and then they might have residence in Washington, D.C. or the state capitol. So I can understand why he feel like it's illegal for her to have two residencies, especially if she's not elected official. So I see as this is something he concocted up just so he can try to fire her and see if he can get away with it. And also I'd like to say I'm glad that the prison shut down in Florida with what they were calling the new Alcatraz, because it was an environmental hazard. You know, it was endangering species there where they was constructing it. And also there was no guarantee that prisoners who was being incarcerated there was going to get proper treatment, or they should even be incarcerated in the first place.
No, it was inhumane, no doubt about it.
Yep, it was real inhumane. It would be more like a pen where the people stock animals in instead of being a place where someone is being held, you know, until they go to trial. And also concerning the attack on on Black history, saying other people feel uncomfortable. But they don't have no complaints, when the Holocaust is brought up, and when what's going on in Ukraine, is brought up. But when it comes to history of African Americans, they always try to pull the race card and say, no, it's just something we trying to use, just to get some type of pity or get votes. But at the same time, people they have to be made uncomfortable so they won't repeat the same mistakes that their forefathers made. So at the same time, sometimes they've been fed untruth about the history. People being stereotyped, especially when they come to African Americans, some other groups of people, like they haven't tried to make progress. If they don't get the full story, they'll believe the propaganda they'll put out there to say that people responsible for their own position in society. If they're only getting the one-sided story and not getting the whole well-rounded story. Okay, thank you, Reverend Sharpton.
All right, thank you, as always, Demetrius. Let me go to Norm in DeSantisburg, Florida. Norm?
How you doing, Reverend? I just remind people that this recent talk about Black history, the proliferation of the talk, is very recent. Because when I grew up, when I started along, these kind of things weren't even taught in our elementary schools, and it was insistent on our, particularly with the Nation of Islam, even before that, this foundation of Black history and understanding of colonialism has been brought about, and we're still not getting enough. We need to learn about, the Kaisers. This is talking about the Second Reich of the German Empire in Africa, and how that extermination was of the Nam and Harar people affects us today in this country, because there was a lawsuit filed by this nation in Southwest Africa, Namibia, in the American federal court, really based upon how the Jewish population filed one in the same court system, and their application was rejected. And then you look at the history behind that type of thing in hiding our history, it shows that this is what the colonialism does, and this is what the powers do to try to put existence as non-people. And the other issue deals with why the DEA was selected in Washington, D.C. And again, they have a history, a ruthless history of stopping Black people at airports, seizing their property, and telling them to just move along. I mean, stealing and looting, particularly in the doctor's office, looting thousands, millions of dollars from them, and then, say, using civil asset forfeiture in taking these properties. And this is precisely what's happening now in Washington, D.C., as you begin to hear people complain that they stopped this man and took his motorcycle. And what are they going to do with their motorcycle? Well, they're going to call that a civil asset forfeiture. All they have to do is just go in and say that you're a drug dealer, and they can steal your property. So that means they can knock on your door. Any owner of Washington, D.C., homeowner, knock on their door, said this is a drug den, come in, steal all the property and seize it, and then use civil asset forfeiture to take all your assets and stuff. That's why the DEA was selected here, because that's what they've been doing and getting away with at the airports and those sort of things. And people need to pay attention to that, because we have been writing about that for years and continue to write about the ruthlessness of this criminal enterprise of the United States government, and why they were developed to suppress, to bring drugs into our community, and to suppress us at the same time, created by Richard Nixon. And you'll see that in Afghanistan, the DEA actually caused the proliferation of poppy growth in there, and collaborated with Karzai and his brother to grow these poppies and bring that heroin into this country. So that's why they were selected to handle the so-called Washington crisis. And if you go even look at history and read the book, It Can't Happen Here, they resemble St. Clair Lewis's M&Ms. They're stormtroopers that were used in the same effect to go after people and the black community, called read this, the M&Ms, and the Midler, actually their name is the Minutemen in the book St. Clair Lewis. So I'd like to thank you again. They're trying to set us back, but I know you, Reverend, we ain't going back. We ain't going back at all. Thank you.
And we never will, and we must be determined to keep going forward.
Exactly.
All
and
right.
read yourwithinthenorms.com, please.
Thank you for your call. As always, we are out of time. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron.
All right.
And thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Breaking news.